It's your Daxon Recaps channel here again. Thanks for tuning in to watch my videos. So let's get right into it. The film opens in a high-security prison where Officer Green is preparing to deliver a cash payment to Bellon, a high-profile inmate who, despite being incarcerated, enjoys a life of luxury. Unlike the other prisoners, Bellon has his own personal guards, high-end furnishings, and a steady line of communication with the outside world. From within his cell, he continues to run a vast criminal network involving drug trafficking, human trafficking, and illegal arms sales. Surprisingly, Bellon chooses to remain in prison, as it provides him the ultimate protection from his enemies. Meanwhile, new prisoners arrive, including Jack, a former police officer accused of murdering a fellow officer and robbing a bank. Before Jack is placed in his cell, Officer Green confronts him, slapping him and warning that he won't survive long inside. The story then flashes back to a week earlier, revealing Jack's true mission. Alongside a group of fellow officers, he had staged a bank robbery, not for personal gain, but to obtain crucial evidence exposing Bellon's criminal enterprise and its ties to corrupt government officials. After retrieving classified documents from the bank's lockers, Jack and his team attempted to flee, but were ambushed by other officers. A violent shootout ensued, resulting in the deaths of all of Jack's teammates. Left as the sole survivor, Jack escaped into a nearby building with officers in pursuit. Eventually, he was confronted by one of them, a man he recognized as part of the group responsible for his wife's murder. Overcome with rage, Jack tackled him off the building's rooftop, killing the officer on impact. Miraculously, Jack survived the fall. Wounded and desperate, he hid the stolen evidence at the apartment of a journalist named Trisha and instructed her to take it to the district attorney. Back in the present, Jack finds himself sharing a cell with another inmate named Silver. During lunch, a group of prisoners led by Semyon, Bellon's cousin, demands protection money. When Jack refuses, a fight breaks out, and Jack successfully defends himself, leading to Semon's capture by the guards and subsequent placement in solitary confinement. Later, Jack is moved to a secure cell where he communicates with Bellon via surveillance cameras. Bellon issues a warning, threatening that Jack will die just like his wife if he continues interfering. However, Jack remains unfazed. That night, 3 of Bellon's men sneak into his cell to assassinate him, but Jack swiftly neutralizes them, all without waking Silver. Meanwhile, Trisha intensifies her investigation into Jack's past and discovers his true identity. Determined to expose the truth, Trisha attempts to meet with District Attorney Johnson but is told by his receptionist that he is unavailable. She is encouraged to leave the evidence with his assistant, Mark, but sensing something off, she refuses and decides to return later. Instead, she waits outside the office, eventually approaching Johnson as he exits. She presents her findings, revealing the deep-seated corruption within law enforcement and the government. Intrigued, Johnson provides her with his business card, instructing her to contact him for further assistance. Meanwhile, in prison, Jack receives an unexpected warning from a fellow inmate named William. William cautions him about Bellon's influence, hinting that even the guards are under his control. When Jack inquires about the location of Bellon's cell, William reveals that it remains a closely guarded secret, even among prison staff. Elsewhere in the prison, a brutal fight erupts between 2 female inmates. Guards intervene, and one of the women, Elena, is escorted to a secret meeting with Bellon. She is not alone. Semyon and his men are also present, having been caught collecting protection money without Bellon's permission. Elena, on the other hand, is in trouble for attacking one of Bellon's favored female prisoners. To reassert his authority, Bellon places a $100,000 bounty on Jack's head, promising the reward to anyone who kills him. Soon after, Jack is ambushed by a group of prisoners while speaking with William, but the two manage to fight him off. Meanwhile, Bellon is contacted by District Attorney Johnson, who warns him about Trisha's investigation. Enraged, Bellon orders Johnson to have her silenced and also arranges for Jack's execution by the end of the day. Later, while Jack is doing his laundry, a group of corrupt guards arrive to claim the bounty. They viciously beat him with batons, but Jack fights back, taking him down one by one. As he exits, another group of prisoners confronts him. Before they attack, Jack strategically points out that if they split the reward, their shares won't be worth the risk. His logic convinces them, and they back off. Meanwhile, Trisha visits her friend Allison, confiding in her about the evidence and Bellon's powerful connections. At the same time, Elena approaches Kat, Bellon's favorite female prisoner, to apologize for their earlier altercation. However, Kat is unwilling to forgive and punches her. Pretending to lose consciousness, Elena is taken to the prison's medical wing. Once the doctor leaves, she unlocks her handcuffs using a hidden paperclip, steals medical supplies, and stashes them in William's cleaning bucket. Elena then sneaks into the ventilation system, mapping the prison's layout as she crawls through the ducts. She successfully locates the CCTV room and, with William's assistance, puts their plan into action. Meanwhile, Trisha visits Jack and confronts him about his past. Jack finally reveals the truth: his wife was murdered by Bellon's men, and the officer he killed was involved in the crime. Shortly after, Jack learns that William isn't just another prisoner, he is an undercover officer working to expose the prison's corruption. He also reveals that Elena is part of the same mission, secretly collecting crucial evidence. Before they can continue their conversation, prisoners launch a surprise attack, forcing Jack into solitary confinement while William is summoned by Warden Blaine. The corrupt warden demands a larger payoff if William wishes to continue his mission undisturbed. Outside the prison, Trisha makes another attempt to meet Johnson but is told he remains unavailable. Mark once again insists that she hand over the evidence, but she remains wary. Meanwhile, Bellon is briefly released from his cell to meet with his daughter. William, seeing this opportunity, signals Elena to begin the next phase of their plan. As Bellon is led out of the visiting area, William unlocks Jack's solitary confinement, setting him free. Jack knocks out a guard and dons his uniform for disguise. Simultaneously, Elena escapes through the ventilation system, throwing the prison into chaos. William opens all the cell doors, sparking a full-scale riot. Jack seizes the moment to confront Officer Green, throwing him into the angry mob of prisoners. As the FBI intervenes to restore order, many prisoners are detained, including Semyon, who is thrown into solitary confinement. Jack, wounded but victorious, catches his breath as William and Elena approach. William commends Jack for his bravery, acknowledging his crucial role in toppling Bellon's empire. Soon, a convoy of FBI agents arrives, arresting corrupt prison officials, including Warden Blaine and officers who had secretly worked for Bellon. Meanwhile, outside the prison, news networks broadcast the scandal, exposing the extent of corruption within law enforcement and government institutions. Thanks to Trisha's efforts, multiple high-ranking officials are arrested, bringing an end to Bellon's reign. Although Jack is still technically a prisoner, William assures him that his involvement in exposing corruption will not be ignored. His case will be reviewed, and he will likely be released soon. As Jack is escorted through the prison gates, he glances back at the place where he fought, not just for vengeance, but for justice. His journey began with revenge but ended with the dismantling of a criminal empire. Elena and William watch as he steps into an awaiting FBI vehicle, knowing that their battle against corruption is far from over. As the gates close behind him, Jack finally feels something unfamiliar: hope. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, and put down your comments below to let me know what you think about this recap story. Give this video a thumbs up and share for others too to enjoy. And see you on my next recap. Bye for now.